The origins of my dispute with Hollywood pertain to the violence in cinema. But the politics of the Hollywood political system grabbed me by the throat and tortured me as a child. In what Clint Eastwood thinks is a movie script, the U.S. Army got involved in terrorism. If you want to know what it comes from, you need to look at things like the names Ronnie and Casper, who were the lead man of Pittsburgh's hero worship. They were inhalants-addled, Nazi bayonet-wielding, brutal molesters. And Eastwood has it in his head that he wants Gutendorf and this gang to be exonerated so he can wave the flags of Sean Lennon's mother in triumph over the U.S. Navy in the Pacific War. He already got me to apologize to the Tojo Ronin by staging John Lennon's murder as part of this movie script. The fact that this was a movie script sheds great light on the idea, the theory that John Lennon died is clearly part of the tapestry involved in this movie script. It's just a theory that he died. They put on a show, Ronnie and Casper show, like Reagan and Weinberger. And Bruce, got into it from Atlantic City and so on. David Bowie wrote Diamond Dogs as a charming aside about the girl Dee Dee, who was hired to waylay me so they could smother the story in Neva Starlet vaginal fluids and humiliate me by forcing me to talk about women I didn't know, full-grown women taking me traumacous and stupid to their bedrooms. Traumacous, meaning it was an Epstein story put on by Braunstein and Donald Ostro. And what they want is to say that there's some hooliganism that makes me psychologically consistent with the depiction in the script. This is Oliver Stone's intonement. Now, talk just briefly what they're actually covering up. They're actually covering up the fact that the full roster of public school officials knew that I disappeared and washed up, traumatized after appearing in the office pleading for my life. They all knew that nobody had taught me sign language. They all knew that. They worked as a union to stop me from learning sign language so they could embroil me with Bruce and Ronnie and Casper in this real-world studio production. Ian Widemaker and Peter Sinfield called it a rumble. And they're talking about the toxic issue of my being punched in the face by Bruce Ivey after somebody said he stole their bicycle. I was intoxicated as a child and got beaten up repeatedly over the attempts I made to lighten things up. They're always punching me in the face. Black women, white guys, they're always beating my brains in. And they were being brought by Milton Schaap. George Romero was involved. His daughter's named in the script. And the bounty gets reasserted occasionally in places like Tacoma's Fight Club happy. The Monroe Doctrine was called the Don Roe Doctrine. Well, my father's obituary was scribbled with Don Know Who. And they are using these stories of, they claim a bad past to cover up the evidence that this gang and administration headquarters of Hollywood rubber stamped my father's murder. senior faculty at Pitt, driving a school bus. The Green Party came and ravaged his name on his obituary. And that's Seattle's contribution because they made up a pussy bowl operation. They had a girl from India sleep with me so that Midori could elope with Barack Obama and they could rub my face in it as the golden answer of the elite of the jet set to Yoko Ono's evil ideas about Lenin and the AIDS attack. Which was in reality, Lenin was just used to cover it up. He was used to deflect from the evidence that they were working with the people who they claimed killed him. Gail Burstyn appears on a 1979 album by Robert Fripp. Gabriel called his record company Gale Force in Hidden Pond. It's very conspicuous. So they're gradually turning on the light so that people say, aha, Lenin was brilliant. He got all of the drug varmints to commit suicide. And Iran gave full blessing to it. And the Israelis signified it with the supernova massacre. And Tacoma has a supernova with the cosmonaut overlooking it. Lavrov gets on the telly and says, we're a strategic alliance, an oligarch corridor. Strategic alliance making up stories about Jimmy Creary.